My name's Chris, and my son is 25 and was diagnosed with Asperger's, tentatively age 3, because he didn't speak at the sort of normal time that children start to speak. And then he was confirmed with Asperger's at age 5-6. So we've lived with autism for quite a long time now. Everything went, I think probably you might say, upwards after that, because we just had to get on with it, and there's always somebody worse off than you, so we just got on with it. And I looked at all sorts of schools, ranging from special schools to schools specifically for autism. We went to a local school who was a Roman Catholic primary school, and I guess really I was in denial. I was still thinking, he started to read, he was doing house numbers in French and German on the way to nursery school, and so I didn't really want to believe, I guess. We hadn't opted for a formal diagnosis, but when he went to a primary school proper, we could see then that he was not doing the things that other children were doing, and so we asked for a referral. After that, the school weren't very happy with the amount of money that the LEA were providing. We think we're one of the first families to go to the educational tribunal, special educational need tribunal that's set up for families that had problems with funding for their children, or indeed placement. And I remember that was really scary. I was really worried that they were going to turn around and say, right, well, if the school wants some more money, then it's obvious that that's not the right school for him. And I was so worried that they were going to take him away from the primary school and send him to a school a long way away from us. I felt so insecure that, it wasn't going to be our decision about where he went to school. So lots of tears when you have somebody there's a lot of emotion involved with having a young person on the spectrum. But anyway, they didn't give us any extra money. They just told the school that they had to use it in different ways. He went through primary school. He scored very highly in those, in maths, not particularly in English. And then when he went into the year 6 SATs, the same thing again. But we did actually fall foul of the school. We weren't very happy with the school when he was in year 5. And the head teacher said to me, that Neil had been quite disruptive. He said, you, meaning me, I was going to have to get them some support. And I thought, well, hang on a minute, you've got a SENCO, shouldn't she be doing something? And then I found out from Neil what the problem was that day. He'd been asked to write a war poem in the style of this particular poet, but he didn't know what war was. How can you write a war poem if you don't know what war is? So that was a really sort of bad patch at primary school, and it was because really the work was getting harder, particularly in literacy. Maths he could hold his own, but literacy was always tricky for him, and still is. He has a fantastic vocabulary. He's very good with grammar, but if you ask him to send an email to somebody, he's not quite sure what to put in. His GCSEs, well, I lay on the kitchen floor with my arms and legs in the air, waving them madly when he got his level C, for his grade C for GCSE English, because, and thank the Lord for BBC bite-sized GCSE revision. That was very, very useful. And again, with a lot of support, he got 4 A levels, 2 A's and 2 B's. He went to university, not without problems. He fell foul of sort of social situations in his first term, and we had some fantastic people from the National Autistic Society were put in place to support him, sort of doing autistic things, actually, going around looking at number plates and motorbikes and what have you, but also things like cooking and just talking and doing stuff like that. He came out the other end. His 3-year course took 4 years because he ended up with some units that involved a lot of words which he didn't understand, but he got his 2-1 and really, really proud, and so was he very proud as well. We knew he was very proud of it. But the sad thing is, can't get a job. Or so far, we haven't been able to get a job. He's had 1 interview. I think he's made now 16 applications. Sometimes he doesn't hear from people at all. Other times he gets recruitment agencies phone up, but he doesn't know what to say to them. We have a little script now, but it's quite tricky sometimes to actually apply the script because he doesn't always know which bits to leave out and which bits to put in. He's after a job as a programmer, but maybe as a tester. He basically wants to program. That's his love. And I see him as being given a job to do and sitting in a little booth programming away and probably not going home because he's having such a wonderful time programming. He will be there when he's meant to be there. So his timekeeping is superb. He probably wouldn't leave, as I say. He'll be so focused on the job. My only worry about him is for him, really. All these jobs all say that they require people with excellent communication skills, and he'll never have those. And we went to Bletchley Park the other day, and had Neil been around in wartime, Neil would have been at Bletchley Park. The rose-tinted spectacles are off, because it is tricky. It's tricky for any kid getting a job, I'm sure, but for Neil and for others on the spectrum, very tricky. But I do think he will get something somewhere from somebody. We've lived with it for so long. I think the most important thing really is to just try and talk to other people, the people who've got experience of what it's like, of other people who are on the spectrum themselves, what it's like for them and what their difficulties have been. And perhaps, I found out the other day, a chap told me that his mum had taught him to smile by literally holding her fingers at his mouth and saying, you're feeling happy, I know you're feeling happy, and this is how you smile. And she used to push the corners of his mouth up to help him smile. But yeah, just finding out from other people, what sort of difficulties they've had, how they've overcome them, reading up as much stuff as you can, talking to, as many professionals as you can, making friends with people who might be able to help you. Neil actually is a gem. He's good fun. He's very interesting. Sometimes he bombards you with questions. You think, oh, Neil, just go away for a few minutes. I've got something else I need to do. But best part of the time, it's a challenge. But I like a challenge.